Hi, I'm your instructor, Eloise Thomas, and I want to tell you a little bit about myself. First of all, I began teaching at OTC in 2003 as an adjunct, and then in 2008 I became full-time. I teach psychology of personal adjustment, I teach psychology of aging and research methods, and some semesters I teach intro to psychology and lifespan development. Like a lot of OTC students, I returned to a community college at age 40. It was a school much like this. I finished my associates and then transferred down here to Springfield, got my bachelor's and my master's, and I'm working on my PhD right now. Because I'm a student, it helps me see life through the eyes of students, and especially because the PhD program I'm working on is entirely online, it's really helped me to understand what it's like to be an online student. I do understand that anxiety that students sometimes have, wondering if it's okay to contact me, wondering when they'll hear back from me. Here's my general policy. I tend to answer emails every few hours. That might be different on the weekend, but within 24 hours, if you email me and haven't heard back, please contact me again. I won't be offended or think you're nagging me. You can call my office number, but I get back to emails more quickly. As far as grading, I generally have everything graded within 2 days of when it was due. Once again, if a week goes by and you don't have something graded, feel free to contact me because I may have missed it. A lot of times students wonder if I'm bothered by their questions. They apologize when they email me. Please don't. If this was a seated class, I would expect you to ask me questions in class. I would answer them then. I would spend time doing that. So the same thing applies here. Please let me know anytime you have questions. I'm happy to answer them. If you email me, as I said, and I don't get back to you, just feel free to email me again. Don't apologize for emailing me. I'm your instructor and I'm very happy to get back to you. Welcome to Psychology of Aging. Okay, we hit the ground running, so I recommend that you get in and explore the course in Canvas as soon as possible. The more you look through it and know what's coming, the better off you'll be. On the home page, you're going to see directions for getting your ebook to launch in Canvas. And once you put in your access code, you'll be able to launch the chapters within the modules. Also, you'll have access to MindTap, which is the supplementary materials from the publisher. I don't require anything in those, but a lot of students find that they're very helpful as study aids. If you have any problems with anything having to do with the ebook or with any technical problems, please contact the online help desk at 447-6674. They can troubleshoot all that much better than I can. Also, if you prefer a hard copy, for a small additional fee, you can purchase that through the OTC bookstore. Some students find they like that better. When you get into Canvas, you'll see that there's 8 modules. Each one will last 2 weeks, and everything you need for that module is contained in there. The first module, though, is the Canvas Basic. It's navigation instructions. Some of you have used Canvas a lot. You may not need much in there. Others, this may be your first time. So feel free to just go through and search through those. I have them linked so that if you need specific help, you can get it. You don't have to go through all of them. As I said, each module is going to be 2 weeks long, and in that module, you'll see all your reading stuff and your activities. All quizzes are going to be due on Wednesdays. Also, your discussion post, your initial one, will be due on Wednesdays. Your final discussions to the other students, your responses will be due on Fridays, and everything else in the module will be due on Saturdays. Some students like to work ahead in this course, and that's absolutely fine. The only exception to that is that there are 3 activities in Module 1 that until you've completed those, Modules 2 through 8 won't open up for you. But as soon as those are done, you'll be able to look at the entire course. However, I recommend, even if you decide to work ahead, that you go through in order. Jumping from module to module, you may miss important information, and the information builds on itself. So try to go through it in order. But if you want to work ahead, that's great. As I said, discussion posts, your original one is due on Wednesday. However, if you don't get it done by Wednesday, please on Thursday or Friday, go ahead and post anyway for 2 reasons. One, you'll just lose a point for it being late, which is much better than losing the whole thing. And secondly, you won't be able to read other students' posts or respond to them until you've posted your own original response. The questions in this class in discussion boards are generally about your own perspectives. There's not a lot of things where there's a right or wrong answer, so I want to hear what you think about the issue before you read other students. When you get to Module 1, it's going to look overwhelming when you first look at it. That's okay. There's a lot of items in there, but some of them are very short. They're just foundational things to get started with. There are 3 items that, as I mentioned before, you're going to need to have done before you can move on to Module 2. One of them is to set your notification preferences. You'll see a link for that. The other two have to do with reading and signing agreements. You're going to read the OTC Academic Honesty Policy and view a short video on plagiarism, and you're going to need to be sure to read the syllabus. On each of those 3 items, you're going to type your name in the assignment box, which signifies that yes, you have set your notification preferences, and yes, you've read the policy and the syllabus and you agree to abide by them. Another item in Module 1 is the introductory phone call with your instructor. I would love to have a phone conversation with you, just very brief, to get to know you, and it's your opportunity to ask me whatever you want to ask me about the course, tell me what you would like to learn from the course. This is not required, it's optional, it's extra credit. You can earn 10 points for doing it if you decide you want to. You'll see a scheduling app when you click on the phone call, and you'll go in there, pick a time that you would like me to call you. Be sure and fill out all the information, including your phone number, and I will call you at that time. One thing to keep in mind is it may come up on your phone as a private number. If that's a problem for you, just email me ahead of time and we'll make arrangements to do it differently. Finally, each week after I complete the grading, I'm going to post an announcement with some feedback from that week, as well as some reminders about upcoming activities. If you've set your notification preferences, you'll receive those announcements in email. The announcements in Canvas are always located at the top of the homepage. Now a bit about this course. Yes, we are going to talk about the normal theories about development and aging. There's a lot of terms, a lot of theories, but one of the really important things I want to do is talk about the stereotypes in aging. By the end of this course, I hope you see aging in a different perspective than what you have in the past. I want you to develop a realistic view of aging. A lot of people are surprised to find out that older adults report that they are actually really happy and well adjusted in their old age. That's very, very different from what our culture would say. Our culture stereotypes suggest that older adults are lonely, depressed, feel desperate, which is not the case. I hope by the end of the semester that your stereotypes have been challenged. However, I do want you to have a realistic view. Everything about aging is not wonderful. There are a lot of challenges and losses that often come with old age. So I want you to be able to look at both sides, to see the negatives of it, but also to recognize the positives. So I'm going to ask you a question. Do you want to get old? As you're thinking about that, if you're saying to yourself no, well, let me ask you another question. If you don't get old, what happens? Yes, old age is the only way to prevent dying young, which does help us look at it a little differently. I want to get old for that reason. 2 years ago, my kids gave me a 60th birthday party, and yes, that does tell you how old I am, and no, I'm not ashamed of it. When they gave me this party, I told them the only rules I had were no black, no cards about mourning, nothing about how sad it is to get old or how I'm over the hill. I have had friends who didn't get to be 60, so I just viewed it as a need to celebrate. I was excited to turn 60. That's a really important thing to keep in mind. In the last module, Module 8, you are going to view a couple of videos of some older adults talking about successful aging, how they got there. One of them is a very, very good friend of mine who spoke to my class, in my seated class, 10 years ago when she was 84 years old. And she talked about how she had gotten to be old and how she had done it so successfully. One of the things that she said that I really appreciated was that yes, being young is beautiful, but being old is comfortable. I hope that you leave this course with that idea in mind. And I didn't say weeks.